The massive creature in Loch Ness has been sighted over 1,000 miles away, and after hundreds of search operations, it has remained elusive. Does an unknown creature really exist in the 10,000-meter deep lake? Let's explore the mystery of the Loch Ness Monster. Today, let's talk about a question that many people want to know the answer to. Does Loch Ness really have a monster? Loch Ness is a freshwater lake in the UK, which, although second only in size to the UK's second largest lake, has a maximum depth of 226 meters. Its water volume is greater than the total water volume of all lakes in England and Wales combined. However, due to the high amount of silt and peat in the water quality is very turbid, and the visibility is extremely low, making it difficult to see more than a few inches in front of you. Therefore, underwater filming has also caused some trouble, and people's exploration of Loch Ness mostly relies on sonar devices. In addition, scientists have found that there are many natural caves at the bottom of Loch Ness, making the already bottomless lake even more mysterious. According to records, the earliest sighting can be traced back to around the 7th century, when an Irish missionary named St. Columba and his friend witnessed it. You seem to have encountered a scene where a local resident is burying a person by the lake. St. Columba heard that the person was attacked and killed by the monster while swimming in the lake, so he asked his friend to swim in the water to attract the monster. In no time, the monster appeared, ready to attack his friend. At this moment, St. Columba made a cross sign and shouted to the monster, "Do not advance, do not harm anyone, go away quickly." Unexpectedly, the monster obeyed and disappeared. The people around were in awe of St. Columba and believed that he had defeated the monster with his righteous power, just like he had defeated bulls, demons, and snakes. First of all, the record of this incident was made more than 100 years after it happened, so it is difficult to verify its authenticity. In addition, the water temperature seems to be very low, only 12 degrees in summer, and it is not suitable for swimming at all. The water temperature in the 7th century was probably even lower, and the locals should not have gone swimming. In the more than 1,000 years since then, there have been constant claims of sighting the monster in the lake, but few people believe it. It was not until 1934, when a photo appeared, that the Loch Ness Monster became the focus of the world's attention. What happened? In 1933, in order to develop tourism in Loch Ness, a new road was built along the northern shore of the lake, allowing tourists to enjoy the scenery of Loch Ness. But after this road was opened, the monster seemed to become more active. People often claim to have seen the monster. The first to report on the Loch Ness Monster was a newspaper called the Inverness Courier. Then it caused a sensation, and a wave of monster fever swept across the UK. According to the descriptions reported at the time, the appearance of the monster seen by eyewitnesses varied. Some said its back was slightly raised like a hill, while others said it had a wavy back, and some said they only saw the head and neck of the monster. The head was small and the neck was long. Anyway, even until now, there is no unified description of the monster's appearance, or it could be said that the appearance of the monster is a huge mystery. In the UK, there is a newspaper called the Daily Mail which did not want to miss the Loch Ness Monster craze. They sent a reporter named Wetherell to investigate the monster. After many difficulties, Wetherell finally found a large beast footprint on the shore of Loch Ness, suspected to be left by the monster. However, experts confirmed that the footprint was a hoax. The newspaper still published the story to attract readers, with a mocking tone towards Wetherell. Furious, Wetherell quit his job and planned to get revenge on the newspaper. A 6-year-long deception began to brew. On April 21, 1934, the Daily Mail published a report that pushed the Loch Ness Monster craze to its peak. The report included the world's first photo of the monster, taken by a famous London surgeon named Wilson. He claimed that on April 2019, while driving along Loch Ness, he saw something unusual on the surface of the water due to the road being much higher than the lake. He immediately took out his camera, got out of the car, and captured the amazing moment. The photo showed the monster's head and long neck extending out of the water. This photo became the key evidence of the monster's existence. Of course, many people still doubted the authenticity of the photo until the truth was revealed in 1994, 60 years later. A 90-year-old man named Christian Spuren confessed on his deathbed, revealing the truth behind the hoax. He said that the photo was actually a fake and he was involved in the whole process. At that time, his stepfather, who was resentful towards the Daily Mail after quitting, bought materials to make a monster prop that could float on the water. The monster was actually a submarine toy with a head and neck made of wood and plastic. After taking the photo, they almost sent it to their friend, D.R. Wilson. Their original plan was to wait for D.R. Wilson to edit the photo and then reveal the hoax to embarrass the Daily Mail. But unexpectedly, the photo caused such a large reaction that they gave up their previous plan. Although there is an ancient Chinese saying, "A dying man's words are good," many people in the West still doubt Christian Spearing's words. This is because there were 5 people involved in this prank, and now only one, for Balin, is alive and can say whatever he wants. Therefore, those who firmly believe in the existence of the Loch Ness Monster believe that even if the photo is fake, it is not enough to deny the existence of the monster. Of course, as mentioned earlier, from 1934 to 1994, there have been sightings and explorations of Loch Ness every 3 to 5 years, with major monster waves. However, every time a photo of the monster is taken, it is always blurry, just like UFO sightings. No matter how advanced technology is, cameras will still produce blurry pictures. So let's not dwell on that and instead talk about some scientifically based exploration activities. BBC News is a news program department under the British Broadcasting Corporation. In 2003, they sponsored the largest ever search for the Loch Ness Monster. They launched 600 sonar beams into the lake and, with the most advanced satellite positioning technology at the time, covered the entire range of Loch Ness. If the monster existed, the sonar would have reflected back the air in its lungs, creating mechanical signals. Unfortunately, no large creatures were found in the lake. They also conducted an experiment. Scientists first placed a wooden stake in the lake and then let tourists observe it after it floated to the surface. Afterwards, they interviewed these tourists and found a strange phenomenon. People always described what they saw based on their imagination, including those who claimed to have seen the monster's head. Sir Arthur, a British anthropologist, once sarcastically said, "We have reached a conclusion. The existence of the Loch Ness Monster is not a zoological problem, but a psychological one." Although the scientific study sponsored by BBC News has proven to some extent that there is no monster in Loch Ness, the Western spirit of pushing for the truth is still commendable. After all, the allure of one possibility outweighs 10,000 impossibilities. In 2018, geneticist Neil Gemmell and his research team from the University of Otago in New Zealand came to Loch Ness and collected over 200 samples from more than 300 different locations underwater. He attempted to analyze the DNA of the creatures and find the Loch Ness Monster by comparing them. After more than a year of research, Professor Gemmell's results finally came out. He found that there were about 3,000 species in the 5 waters of Loch Ness, including a large amount of eel DNA. He believes that the monster people saw may have been a giant eel. These large eels turn up their bellies or tails to catch the creatures on the surface of the water, making it appear as if a monster's back is surfacing. However, according to some eyewitness accounts, the monsters they saw were 3 to 5 meters long. I checked and found that wild eels are only about 60 to 90 centimeters long. So, if there really were giant eels, they would have been discovered long ago. There are many speculations about the origin of the monster, such as water towers, tree trunks, and even optical illusions. But I have seen a personal explanation that is more reasonable. In 2006, the famous British paleontologist Nia Clark used computer imaging technology to compare some credible photos of the Loch Ness Monster with elephants bathing in water. She found that they were surprisingly similar, especially the most famous photo of the monster. If Sperling's confession before his death was also fake, then this photo may have been an elephant bathing in water. Because from the angle of the photo, it is not far from the shore, so why would there be elephants nearby? According to Clark's investigation, in 1933, the year when the sightings of the Loch Ness Monster were most frequent, a London circus owner offered a reward of £20,000 for anyone who could find the monster. This large sum of money raised Clark's suspicion. Why would a circus owner be so interested in the monster? Clark conducted a detailed investigation of the circus and found that in 1933, the circus was basically performing in the Loch Ness area, and the elephants in the circus were brought to Loch Ness to bathe after each performance. When the rumors of the monster began, the circus owner was the most vocal about it. He didn't have to spend money on advertising, so why not take advantage of it? Because he knew in his heart that the monster was actually the elephant he brought to Bade, but there were still sightings and photos of the monster after there were no elephants. There are two aspects to analyzing this. First, some people intentionally hype it up because the legend of the monster seems to have driven the local tourism industry and even become the pillar industry of the Scottish region, attracting millions of tourists to Loch Ness every year, hoping to witness the monster's grandeur. It is said that the tourism revenue brought by Loch Ness to the local people has accumulated to several billion US dollars. In addition, it has provided a lot of material and inspiration for numerous books and films. So some people don't want it to fade away and will come up with something every 3 to 5 years. Secondly, it is the psychological experiment we mentioned earlier. The vast majority of tourists who visit Loch Ness carry the expectation to see the monster, so it is easy to see things that are not there. When they see something in the water, they will unconsciously associate it with the monster and even exaggerate it to make others believe them. However, no matter what, the Loch Ness Monster is still at the forefront of the world's unknown creatures and remains an unsolved mystery. Hopefully, the truth will come out one day.
Thank you so much for taking the time to watch our videos. If you like our content, please don't forget to subscribe and like. It will support us to continue to create more great content.